Today I'm turning this into this. When I make my mashed potatoes, I start by infusing my cream. And so I'm going to start off here with 2.5 cups of heavy cream. And 4 cloves, roughly chopped, garlic. And this is for poultry, and so I'm going to be using thyme, but if I was doing a beef dish, I'd be putting rosemary in there, or if I was making pork, I would be using fennel or sage, or a combination of those two for the pork. And then this is about a stick of butter. I'm going to turn that on really, really low heat. And that is going to simmer and let all those flavors infuse. And then later on, once the potatoes are ready, I'll strain that and we'll be using that in our potatoes. Our butter's all nice and melted. I'm going to give that a little bit of a stir, get that thyme down in there. And I'm going to turn that heat down to the absolute lowest simmer. And that is going to sit there and let all those flavors come together. And we're going to go cut our potatoes. I have here about 4 pounds of russet potatoes. In my opinion, they're the best potato to use for nice fluffy mashed potatoes. And I also like to peel them with a knife and not a potato peeler. So that way you don't get juice flying around everywhere. So I'm going to get all these peeled and sliced into small chunks and put in that water so they don't turn. And then I'm going to rinse them a couple times to get the starch out. And that's another key to having nice fluffy mashed potatoes. So let's get to getting all these peeled and cut up. We're down to our last potato. And you can see inside this water here how cloudy it is. That's the starch in the potatoes coming out. And we're gonna, after I get this one in there, I'm gonna pour that water out and put some fresh water in there and let that sit a bit and stir it, and then dump that out. And then we'll be ready to start boiling our potatoes. All that extra starch is what you want to get out for extra fluffy potatoes. Okay, we're gonna stir those around a bit and you'll see how cloudy that is. Okay, I'm gonna dump that out and put in some fresh water. All right, I got a plate here I'm gonna put over there so I can drain my potatoes and they don't fall out. Okay, now we're gonna add in some nice cold water, give them another bath, get more of that starch out, move them around a bit, let them sit over here. All right, I'm just gonna drain these one more time. I'm going to put them in pot I'm going to be boiling them in. And I'm going to fill that up with some nice cold water. You always want to start with cold water. I'm going to put lots and lots of salt in there like you would pasta. And we're going to put in a couple of bay leaves. And we're going to put that on the stove. Our cream is getting all nice and infused. I'm going to move that to the back burner over here and put our potatoes onto high. And once those start to boil, they'll boil approximately 15 minutes and I'll test them with a fork. There will need to be no resistance when I test those potatoes. And we'll come back when they get to that point. Our potatoes have been boiling 20 minutes and they are just right. When I pierce them with a knife, there's no resistance and they're ready to get drained. We're gonna drain those potatoes. And then they gotta go back in that hot pot so that they can dry. We're gonna leave the potatoes in the hot pot, and that'll allow the excess water to steam off, and then we'll get back to that pot. Our potatoes have had time to dry, and we're gonna remove the bay leaves. They've done their job. Get that guy out of there. And now I'm gonna switch these bowls around because it's time to start ricing. Okay, and first we're going to, before I start ricing, we're going to remove the aromatics from my cream. There we go, and that's ready to go. Now you get your ricer and just start loading it up with potatoes. And I'm about halfway there, so what I like to do at this point is put in part potatoes and a couple pads of butter, and then a few more potatoes. There we go. Give it a bit stir to get it all together. Start adding a little bit of your cream mixture. And this part is very subjective as to the consistency you like your potatoes. I like mine to still keep a stiff edge, kind of like what you do with whipped cream. They're starting to look about there. And I like to reserve putting pepper in because when I serve it to company, some people like to put pepper and others don't. So I leave that out and allow other people to add the pepper that they like. But that is looking just about where I like it, where it stands up like that. That way it can stand up to whatever you want to pour on it, gravy, butter, all those good things. And now we're going to put that in a bowl. And it's ready to serve.
Your most economical side dish is the most anticipated, creamy, perfectly seasoned, waiting to cradle your pads of butter or envelop your saucer gravy. And remember, if it's time tested, top-notch ingredients, and the talk of the table, it's Cindy certified.